Oh, et bonjour. Je m'appelle Benjamin. I am here smoking the cigarette because I am so fashionable and I am so cool. The way I have this little piece of pepper and tar in my hand as look at this. Okay, so that was a coffee stirring stick that I was using as a prop for a cigarette, but I want to talk about smoking. We're clearing the air. I actually recently have been smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day. And the experience has been like pretty good. I think the media is like lying to you that cigarettes are bad. Kidding, guys. That was a joke. I want to talk today about smoking, and not just specifically smoking, more so how it's come back in the culture. Somehow it has come crawling back. And why I think that is partly because of influencers, but we'll get into that. You know me, Benjamin, the watchdog, the police officer of influencers gone rogue, gone crazy, TikTokers spreading evil and hatred, and I really want to stop them. Okay, so basically, the way I've always, like, perceived smoking is it is so fucking dumb, and that comes mostly because my mom, is a respiratory therapist, and part of her job used to be, like, going from school to school and, like, showing kids, like, the effects of smoking. So she had to have this little kit, and it would have like pictures of like lungs after smoking all your life, and now you're 70 years old and you have bronchitis, and 40% of your lung is removed, and this is what you sound like, and shit like that. So I was like hyper aware of the how smoking affects you from a very young age, and that's kind of how I've always been like. That's how I've always perceived smoking, through that lens of like, oh my god, like y'all are actually psychopaths, and like I genuinely could not like figure out in my brain like why anyone would smoke, like what the appeal was. And it took a while like to realize that there's some appeal. There's like manufactured appeal, you know, like in media, people like movies, TV shows, people smoking a cigarette and they're like the cool character and they're fucking edgy because they smoke a cigarette. Also, I'm not trying to sound like a Karen over here or anything like that, for lack of a better word. I know I just said Karen, it's kind of cringe, but like I really just want to get to the bottom of this, because like cigarettes, like they're nothing. Like cigarettes truly are nothing. You don't gain anything from smoking. It's not like you're like, yummy, that was so yummy. People say they like get a buzz from like smoking or from vaping, and I think it's like, it's not, I don't even, listen, I'm not like a psychologist, but I don't think that's a buzz. I think it's just like you're going through like a nicotine withdrawals and finally hitting the nick, freaking like makes your brain happy again, and it's not like starving from the inside. So I genuinely don't know like what smoking has to offer, other than for people who are addicted to nicotine and like need a hit of nicotine. So that's what's like so scary to me, because it does nothing but give you cancer and diseases, and like that. It's so crazy that there's something that is so harmful and actually just overall terrible that somehow is still so popular. And not somehow, I'm not like I know like nicotine is why cigarettes are addicting, but it's like, how the fuck do people like get put onto cigarettes? It's not like a TV show where a friend's like, hey, you want to check this out? Like, what fucking psychopath do you have to be to like just like hook someone on cigarettes? I don't know if it's like done, if the people that are just like smoking and then like offer a cigarette to someone are doing it like, oh, I should just let me just be a good sport. You want a cigarette? You want a little cig? I don't fucking know. I don't know like what the situation would be like to just like hey, you want to get stuck on a lifetime addiction to some cylinders that will give you surely cancer? Like, I don't know. So we've been fucking woke to like what cigarettes do for a very long time. Like when they first came out, no one knew. Like, I don't know when that was, like the 60s, something like that. No, before that, I don't fucking know. I don't know, but it was like fairly recently that we realized that cigarettes are like bad for you and give you the cancer and make your lungs look like diarrhea soup. So it's like, how is it coming back? Because it's back. That, like, this is what blows my mind. There's like so many people my age and younger that are smoking like cigarettes again. And I was like so sure as a kid. I was like, no fucking way in hell, knowing what we know, are people gonna like start smoking again. Like, I just couldn't even like perceive that was like a possible thing. And now here we are, 2023, and there's so many people that smoke. And beyond that, the main focal point of today's episode that I want to talk about is how influencers are promoting it. Believe it or not, now this isn't like the most mainstream thing ever, okay? It's not like Addison Rae's out here like chain smoking or anything like that. Like, we can calm down a little bit on that front, but this is more so like what I've seen in kind of like more like niche communities online. I've seen like a lot of like kind of creators who are in like the fashion space, you know, the aesthetic people who will just like post like a slideshow. They'll like go to France for like fashion week and be like, here is me in Miu Miu, here is me eating croissant with some orange juice de naranja, and then like there's a shot of them like on a fucking bridge with like a cigarette, and they're like and it's not like people, I want to make it clear, it's not like everyone is just seeing them and be like, oh, wow, she's so cool, I want a cigarette now. Mommy, please take me to the store and get me a big old pack. Like, it's not like that. Like, you go to the comments, like, the few times that I've seen this, where, like, an influencer will just, like, post, like, an aesthetic picture of him smoking a cigarette, I'll go to the comments, and people are fucking mad. They're like, what is... Put it down. Put that down. Which is, like, good to see, I think. I think it's, like, nice to see, because my main point right now is, if you want to smoke... Not my fucking problem. Not my fucking problem. You're gonna smoke. Like, I can't stop you. But if you are, like, a fucking influencer with a platform, and especially someone who, like, a lot of these, like, I don't want to name names. Okay, I'll name, like, one name. Like, there's this YouTuber named Best Dressed. She kind of, like, quit YouTube now and, like, just does, like, Instagram and, like, brand deals and shit like that. But she posted a picture of her smoking, and the comments were for the most part, like, girl, what are you doing? Like, put the cigarette down. Like, come on now. But then there was also a lot of people commenting, like, defending her, being like, she can do what she wants. She's a fucking adult. And that's, duh. It's not like we're, like, we're trying to be like, what are you doing? Smoking? Go to jail right now and turn yourself in. Like, it's not like that. It's more so the aggravating point is that this person who is very influential, this best dressed person, which is their name. I'm not saying like this person is the best dressed ever. Like, that's like actually their handle. They're incredibly influential in like the fashion scene online, and have been for a while. And so there's a lot of people that look up to this woman and would probably, I'm sure like there are people that will buy every single thing in her posts, do every single thing in her posts just because they're like a big fan. Like, that's case in point what a fucking influencer does. But like, people, I'm not saying that's gonna be it and everyone's gonna start smoking, but is it crazy to say that some people probably like kept that in their brains and then maybe were offered like a cigarette and started smoking? No, it's not fucking crazy. That probably happened. And I'm sure as an extension of that, some people probably actually were just like, fuck it, I'll start smoking. Pass me that doobie. Like, I really didn't need to pick up the coffee stick again to like drive that point home. But as influencers, we have like a fucking moral responsibility to not just promote stuff that is like actively harmful. If I was just out here doing meth, I would keep that shit to myself. I would be doing meth in silence. I would be posting on my story at the most, be like, I'm gonna be moving in silence from now on. And by that, I would mean meth. But like, I would never post a little meth pipe on my story and be like, I am so edgy with my meth pipe. Fucking dumb. So like, that, and it's like this isn't like a new concept, like the like cigarettes being something that is like a cool, like quote unquote, like a cool attribute thing to do. Like it's such a trope in like movies and TV shows that like the cool characters like smoking and stuff. Not so much anymore. You don't really see that in like media from like the past 20 years, but definitely like 90s, early 2000s, very prominent. But then motherfuckers crack down on that. Like now on Netflix, if there's like even tobacco being used in a movie or a TV show, it literally says in the rating that like that's in use, and it's highly regulated. You can't like advertise cigarettes at all. So it's almost like like influencers are one of the only kind of mechanisms that are like bringing cigarette culture back into like bringing it to the new generation, which is very concerning. But we can't just ignore the elephant in the room. There's not just smoking, okay? There is vaping. Vaping is just I actually don't fucking know. I'm not that well versed on vaping. I had a vape phase. Let me be so real with y'all right now. When Juuls first came out in like 2018, this is gonna be so cringe, but I literally started it just because I saw it was like a YouTuber or like a Viner that I was like a fan of, like literally just referenced it or like made a meme about it, and I was like, oh, what is that? I want one of those. I want a little Juul. It sounds so funny. And so I literally fucking, oh my god, this is so cringe. So my friends and I, Juuls were not available in Canada, let me preface by saying, but they were available in the United States. So my friends and I literally drove like 8 hours to Montana in a van to get Juuls, and like that was like probably 70% of why we went on this trip. Like the other 30% was we wanted just like a little vacation and like to try like Buffalo Wild Wings because we don't have that in Canada. But we like it was a very prominent reason why we literally drove to Montana was to get these Juuls. And it's like I'd never vaped before. I just wanted like the idea of it, and so we got these fucking Juuls. Oh my god. we bought these Juuls, and it came with like 4 pods, and for like the entire trip I went through all 4 pods. I literally just had it hooked up to my mouth, and I was like oh, let me not, well shit, did it already. Let me just not make that gesture. Anyways, and I was like literally fucking addicted for like instantly, like almost instantly. Like the nicotine kicked in, baby. The nicotine was nicotining, and the only thing that like stopped me was I went back to Canada and there was no more Juuls, and I was like in nicotine withdrawal for like a day, and then like slowly got away from that. But like that was a very forceful, like mandatory stoppage of my vape usage. But and thankfully I haven't like picked up one since then. Also, my lungs are just like actually like I would like inhale it and be like like coughing it up, like struggling to breathe. That's like like mostly the reason why I've like never like smoked weed or anything. Like I actually cannot handle, even if someone's like vaping near me or like smoking like near me, like my lungs just give out. But vaping is like kind of similar, but you know, and listen, I'm not a fucking scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know like all the facts on this, but I do think it is at least probably, it's safe to say it's safer than cigarettes for the most part. Not saying, oh, well, everybody go pick up your Juul, pick up your vape. No, that's not what I mean. But like, it's not literally burning fucking tar. So that's like a bonus. Now keep in mind, I think there's like a lot of vapes that are like very regulated and like more on the safe end, but that's not to say there isn't like vapes or like vape juices that people use that are like actually like cyanide and like pesticides with like
a mango fruity tropical flavor on it.
It's like I don't know, but at least thankfully vaping is like, for the most part, kind of like cringe. You'll see like moments where vaping will kind of be like in vogue and people will be like, oh, vaping is kind of cool. Like recently I've seen like those fucking Elf bar things. I keep seeing like memes about that and everywhere, and like those are like kind of becoming like a cultural thing, like kind of similar to like how Juul was. That was like almost a little bit,
it was almost a little bit cool to Juul.
But, like, for the most part, like, you see the motherfuckers with, like, a giant battery pack, and then they, like, take a puff, and, like, a cumulonimbus cloud comes out of their mouth. Like, that's cringe. I think that's, like, very broadly accepted as cringe. So, at least, like, we've got that going for us. But that's, like, never, like, I don't think it's ever really been, like, seen as, like, cringe to smoke. It's, like, definitely, like, you see someone smoking, and, like, at least for me, I immediately think, like, oh, well, they are probably gonna die fucking early. There's not as, like, many health benefits. But, I don't know, just, like, for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like the same kind of, like, cringe level as, like, vaping, which is very weird, very backwards, and, like, chime in if you, think differently or feel differently. It's, like, that's why I, like, understand where the kind of, like, edgy, like, kind of badassness vibe can be perceived from, like, smoking, because it's not as, like, fucking goofy. And also, like, the other thing it has, like, against, like, smoking is very, like, ugh, I'm, like, gritty, whereas, like, vaping, it's like you are puffing on a fucking mango, like, literally a box of liquid mango, and that is the least like, cool thing ever. And I'm not saying that as, like, smoking is cooler, but it's like vaping is just, like, actually it can be so cringe. So but like I said, like I'm not a doctor, not to fucking say that for the 18,000th time in this episode, but it's like vaping, I don't feel, like, disgusted by it. In fact, sometimes I walk by a vape cloud and I'm like, you know what, that smelled a little bit good. Smelled a little bit delicious, like a nice little mango. But personally, it's not for me. And I also, there's the whole other situation with, like, nicotine addiction. And I don't say that as, like, nicotine is a gateway drug to heroin. And if you smoke a jewel, you are going to be on fentanyl or anything like that. But there is something to be said about, like, how nicotine, like, affects your mood. I've kind of, like, seen it firsthand in, like, friends and stuff, where they, like, become, like, very nicotine dependent. If they, like, can't find their vape, it's, like, not a good day. So I think that is, like, probably a negative for the most part. But it's not, you can look at, like, vaping in the perspective of, like, cigarette smoking, where, like, vaping is just, like, for the most part cringe and might give you, like, lung cancer, whereas, like, cigarettes, like, literally will fucking give you lung cancer, will make your teeth yellow, will, like, do all these horrible things to you, make you, like, infertile. Your baby will come out with, like, 8 legs if you smoke while you're pregnant. So it's, like, very much, like, a lesser of two evils situation. And let's not forget that, like, vaping was, like, actually just, like, kind of a solution to cigarette smoking to begin with. Like, they didn't make Juuls to, like, get every, like, 12-year-old who plays Fortnite in, like, 2016 addicted to Juuls. That was not the case. That was not the intention. It was, like, supposed to be for smokers to quit, to, like, still have that nicotine kick, but they're not, like, puffing on actual dumpster fire. So you know, there's that whole thing, but that quickly fell apart. And I'm not, like, trying to erase that, like, smoking still is very helpful, or sorry, vaping is very helpful for people who are quitting smoking. I think that's, like, a very good thing. But it just kind of sucks seeing, like, people just start vaping when they, like, never even, like, smoked in the first place. Like, there was no need for it. They're just like, oh, well, shit, I'm vaping. And it's, like, the crazy thing is, it's, like, everyone fucking vapes, it seems sometimes. It's, like, everyone. Like, and I really want to, like, stress that I'm not, like, coming from, like, a judgmental point of view. I'm not, like, I absolutely don't think, like, if you vape or if you smoke cigarettes, that has, like, any reflection of you as a person or your personality. Like, it's literally nicotine. It's, like, addicting to everyone. Like I understand what I have a problem with, and what I think reflects on your character, is if you're a fucking influencer and you're, like, posting cigarettes and, like, your little aesthetic photo dump. Like, that is actually diabolical. And it's, like, so funny because, like, sorry, going back with that best dressed girl's Instagram post, a lot of the people were just, like, trying to play it off as, like, it's just her life, like, it's just part of the aesthetic. like forgetting that there's actual people that are just like all hail plankton head asses that will just like actually like think smoking is okay all of a sudden. So anyways, moving on from that, it's like it's hard because when something is like so like ingrained in our culture, and you start like with the Juul memes that like single-handedly pretty much like got me juuling. Like the pipeline from me seeing like Juul memes and people joking about Juuls or just like doing Juuls online to me driving 8 hours to Montana to buy a fucking Juul is crazy. And that's how it spreads even like without nicotine. Like I hadn't even like tried the product and I like wanted it. So it's scary to see something like much more diabolical like smoking come back and being like perpetuated, or its use being like shown by like popular influencer lifestyle people, because it's actually fucking harmful. So at least like this has like happened like in culture in the past too. Like what I'm thinking of is like lean. I don't know if I tried lean. No, I don't think I ever tried that. One time I never tried actual lean, but one time I actually was like sick, like I had the flu and I had cough syrup, and I was like, what if I just pour Sprite in it? And so like I actually needed it like as medicine, but I did pour Sprite into it, which did technically turn it into lean. So, and I probably only fucking did that because of like the rappers that I liked. I mean, I definitely did. It's not like I just had the natural idea in my brain when I was drinking my cough syrup to like put fucking Sprite in it. But like that's kind of a different case because like I actually need the lean. But I like obviously, like on the other hand, like moving away from like lifestyle influencer people, you know, there's like kind of like the like music community. Like you might be a fan of a rapper or someone who does lean, and then it makes you want to do it, and that's like also a very like rappers, like, and any kind of musician or celebrity is like in a very influential position because you might have like a very emotional connection to their music or even their lifestyle and them as like a person, as like a celebrity. And so like it's the same thing as like a lifestyle influencer. Like anything they do, monkey see fucking monkey do. Ooh, ah, ah, ah! Like we're all monkey brained. So, and you know, obviously like rappers probably like are gonna sometimes have like a little bit, they're not gonna give us a fuck more as much about like morals probably. What's coming to mind is like Lil Xan. I don't think Lil Xan really gave a fuck what like basing his whole persona after like Xanax, no, and like using it not in a prescription way. I don't think he really gave a fuck about who was gonna listen to that and start trying Xanax. So like, you know, that's like the far end of the spectrum of like the I don't give a fuck wars. But like the other end of the spectrum is like, you know, you have people who for the most part like are morally sound. I don't know, I'm not like trying to like make broad assumptions about these influencers, but it's like you don't expect them to be like promoting something harmful. Like Lil Xan will make a song and be like, I'm taking Xanax, la 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 la, and it's like, okay, well, he's Lil Xan, but it's like, damn, like when your like favorite little fashion influencer is like promoting something that actually just like kills millions of people, that's a little crazy. And I really wonder, like, I would love to just like tap into like the hive mind, the group think of it all, and like I wish I could just like do a poll of all the people that saw that post and like see what they thought of it, because I'm sure like a lot of people also, I'm not saying like everyone either was up in arms in anger or they were like immediately went to the 7-Eleven and bought cigarettes. I don't think it's like that. I'm sure like the vast majority of people just like saw it and moved on. They're like, well, okay, you smoke. cool, and then like moved on. That's probably how most people are. But like, I'm very curious, like how that like affects your perception. Like comment time in the comments. If I, what would your guys' like reaction be if like tomorrow I just posted a picture and it was like a photo dump? So there's other pictures of me. There's pictures of my dog. There's pictures of me in a really candid moment eating a McDonald's burger at 2 a.m. And then like a picture of me smoking a cigarette. What would your reaction be? I'm very curious because I know like when I would see people that I would watch, and then like they'd like be like smoking a cigarette in a post, I was disappointed. Or, like that was like kind of my first thought. I was like, oh, not necessarily that they were smoking, because fucking everyone, it literally feels like everyone vapes nowadays, and I know so many people that smoke. But what was disappointing to me was that they would just like promote it, because it's not like when you make like a little carousel, you can like act as carefree as you want and be like, oh, photo dump, but you motherfucker, you chose the pictures for the photo dump. It's not like they just got thrown into your little dumperoni. It's not like it's like a little piece of corn in the diarrhea that is your fucking photo dump. Like, no, you physically chose, you went,
what fits my aesthetic the best?
And then you picked the picture of you smoking a cigarette. So you can't really play the whole like innocent, like, oh, I didn't mean anything of it card. Because yes, you did. You know the implications, or you're just fucking dumb. That's also a very valid possibility, given how influencers are. But damn, like, I don't know, like, don't smoke. But who the fuck am I to tell you what to do? I'm not your mom, but make an informed decision. Do your research and then make your decision. But with that all being said, let's read some drama from this week real quick. Okie dokie. This week's drama comes from Blick Scarlet, and if you want me to read your drama or give advice on your drama, please just comment in a few sentences down below, and I'll read it on next week's episode. But Scarlet here says, my friends keep basically calling me fat. They've literally called me fat pig and big bones straight to my face. I pretend it doesn't affect me, but I've struggled with body image issues and an eating disorder, and it really doesn't help. What makes it even worse is that one of the friends calling me that literally also has a fucking eating disorder but doesn't give a damn. I am so sorry. That is actually, like, horrible. I wish I had, like, an answer for why people are just evil and psychopaths like that, but first of all, like, I don't even know if they're your friends. Like that shows, like, such a level of, like, not caring about you, especially since you like struggle with body image issues, to like literally say like some of the few things that are like the most harmful is actually crazy. I don't know why people are that horrible, and not that it's your responsibility, but it might be worth like just like really fucking let them know, like, did you know that being like fat phobic and calling me fat pig is actually evil? Like, it might be worth it, and if they're like not willing, or they just like play it off as like a joke, or like don't hear your concerns, drop them bitches. Like, I'm so sorry, and it'll be hard, but that's brutal. I'm so sorry. But thank you for sharing your drama with me. Like I said, if you want me to read your drama or give my 2 cents on it in a future episode, please comment it down below in just a few sentences, just a couple. And if you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button, baby, on YouTube. And also, please leave a 5-star, a glowing review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you have 2 seconds. Just 2. I love you very much. I will see you next Wednesday. Take care. Better the week. It's Joe.